Let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the local bourse. The JSE did get a handover of green Asian markets, even though we did have Chinese industrial profits for September disappointing, slumping by more than 27% year on year. Of course, locally, the big focus is on the midterm budget policy statement that will be delivered by the finance minister this week. We are seeing the all share there cheerful, up more than or almost 0.75%. That gain largely coming from the industrial 25 advancing there by almost 1%. Financial 15 climbing more than 0.8%, but backing that trend is the resources 10 complex declining more than 0.1%. Let's take a look at what is happening with the U.S. markets. Quite a lot that investors will be focusing on this week, including the more third quarter results. We do have 5 of the Magnificent 7 companies releasing results this week. We also have another reading of the third quarter GDP from the US and also the PCE inflation print for September. But looking at those markets, of course, on Friday we did have the Nasdaq reaching a fresh record, seeming to be extending on those gains there by more than 0.5%. The S&P 500 with a gain of almost 0.5%, and the Dow climbing more than 0.75%. Let's take a look at what is happening with the markets across the Atlantic. Results also coming in through there. We did have Philips, the Dutch medical devices company, downgrading its sales outlook for the full year, and investors responding to that with that share slumping over 17% at some point. But a sea of green on that front. FTSE 100 up more than 0.4%, a climb on the CAC 40 of almost 0.75%, and the DAX advancing 0.27%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene, and we start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A slight weakness on the rand at 17 rand 68 against the US dollar, against the pound at 22 rand 97, and against the euro at 19 rand 12. Let's take a look at what is happening with the other currency pairs, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.08, pound dollar at 1.29, and the yen weaker against the US dollar, just below 153 against that currency. Of course, we do have some political uncertainty going on there in Japan, as the ruling coalition government lost its parliamentary majority.